Hello everyone, and welcome to Secrets Behind the Stars. Settle in, because today's video dives into a tender confession that feels bigger than awards and premieres. If you enjoy this kind of intimate storytelling, hit like, subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars, and, if you want to go the extra mile, tap the join button to support the channel. Now let's get into it. Inside a home where a new heartbeat has rearranged every priority, something shifted that no headline could fully contain. From a leafy villa where the city's noise dissolves into birdsong, Barış Arduç sat down and shared a truth that seemed to surprise even himself. He spoke softly, the way people do when they're afraid to jinx a miracle. In the background, there was a framed photograph of Elçin and Sangu holding their newborn son, her hair loose, her face lit by the sort of relief that only comes after the storm. Barış kept looking at that image as if trying to memorize it forever, and when he finally found the words, they trembled. He didn't give a rehearsed line, he gave a piece of himself. He said that fatherhood had changed him instantly, but it was Elçin who brought him back to life. He didn't put it in those exact terms at first. He tried to describe the delivery room, the rush, the stillness at the center of the chaos, and how a tiny cry had split his old self from the new. He admitted that when their son was placed in his arms, he froze, not out of panic, but because the world had gone quiet in a way he had never experienced. The actor known for composure looked undone, and it was moving to see. Holding that fragile, warm weight, he said, made every ego-driven ambition feel paper-thin. His gaze wandered to the photo again. In it, Elçin's exhaustion turned luminous, the sort of beauty that only shows up when there's nothing left to prove. He took a breath and let a different kind of sentence escape. Becoming a dad happened in a heartbeat, but finding the courage to be this man every day, that came from her. As he went on, he shifted from the drama of the birth to the reality of what followed. He explained that the biggest decision they made wasn't about paint colors or baby names. It was choosing to keep the pregnancy off the grid, quietly, carefully, while they figured out how to be themselves in the face of something holy. In an industry that feasts on candid moments turned into content, they stepped back. He described it as a protective bubble, a hush around their life that allowed them to hear each other better. While the world speculated, they took walks at dusk. While blogs refreshed for updates, they made tea, whispering promises that weren't meant for cameras. This wasn't secrecy for the thrill of it. It was about stewardship, guarding a season so fragile it would bruise if handled carelessly. Barış admitted that this choice didn't come without doubts. He wondered whether they were doing the right thing by refusing to perform the most intimate stretch of their lives. But each time he saw Elçin press a hand to her belly and close her eyes, he knew the answer. It wasn't about depriving fans, it was about honoring the quiet in which a family begins. In that silence, he learned to listen. In that stillness, he understood the difference between being seen and being known. The nights after the baby arrived didn't look like magazine spreads. They looked like real life, milk-drunk half-smiles, dawns that arrived too soon, lullabies invented on the fly, and kitchen lights glowing at 3 a.m. He smiled as he confessed that he once sang the same nonsense melody for 40 minutes because it kept their son calm, only realizing later it was a tune from a commercial he used to hate. And then there was Elçin, who, in a whisper that felt like a prayer, admitted she sometimes stays awake longer than she needs to just to watch them breathe. Before, she measured days in call sheets and deadlines. Now, the most important calendar is the one etched by a tiny set of lungs, in and out, in and out. Work changed too, not by accident but by design. Barış talked about rearranging schedules, delaying meetings, saying no to projects that would keep him away too long. He called it a recalibration. Fame offers you a ladder and dares you to stop climbing. He decided the view from the floor of the nursery was enough for now. He didn't romanticize it. He spoke plainly about fatigue and the fear of losing momentum. Yet, he said, every time he second-guessed, he thought about a vow Elçin asked for when contractions made the world almost unbearable. Her words were simple: whatever happens, don't leave me alone. He told her then that he wouldn't just make that promise, he would anchor his life to it. He still carries that sentence like a talisman. That vow isn't a chain, he added, it's a direction. It reminded him that love isn't a speech delivered at a gala. It's the unglamorous practice of showing up, especially when you are scared you might not be enough. He admitted to having been impatient in the past, prone to moving fast and fixing later. Their son slowed him, not with force, but with wonder. A small whimper at midnight, a trembling chin during bath time. He said these details retrained his senses more than any acting coach ever could. Fatherhood, for him, is less a title than a craft, a daily practice of humility, of learning how to be present when there is nothing to perform. On social media, the reaction to his careful honesty came fast. People praised the restraint, the tenderness, the way he spoke of Elçin not as a symbol but as a person with needs and strengths that command respect. Others raised hard questions that our culture can't ignore. Can public figures truly draw a line and keep it intact? Do they owe a running commentary on their private lives simply because we've grown used to instant access? He didn't pretend to settle those debates. He only said that the life they're building needs doors that close, rooms that are only theirs, and stories that can breathe before they're told. Between the heartfelt confessions were small, candid scenes that will likely become the family's greatest treasure. There was the night they hustled to a pediatrician at an hour when the city sleeps, laughing from sheer nerves once the doctor pronounced everything perfectly ordinary. There were diaper runs and hoodies, the two of them squinting under supermarket lights, arguing, quietly and amused, over which brand claims the softer touch. There was a song she invented when he couldn't calm the baby, and the look he gave her when it worked as if she'd just performed magic. It's in these minor moments that their new life has stitched itself together. Then came the photograph that traveled farther than any announcement. Black and white, a stillness that hums. Elçin asleep, their son tucked into the curve of her body, and Barış in the background, barely lit, looking at them as if they were a fragile constellation. The caption said everything without shouting. He wrote that his whole world was breathing right there in front of him. Friends shared it, strangers saved it, and for a rare stretch of hours, the internet looked at a celebrity post and didn't demand more. The image didn't sell access, it offered reverence. Less content, more meaning. Less noise, more truth. For everyone watching, this story nudges real questions to the surface. How do two people in the public eye protect something that doesn't survive under fluorescent attention? What do we, as the audience, ask for and why? What becomes of love when it is consumed too quickly by people who will never hold the consequences? These questions don't have easy answers, but they matter, and they are worth carrying beyond the length of a video. At Secrets Behind the Stars, we want to hear from you. Was their decision to guard the pregnancy the right move in a world addicted to updates? Do you believe parenthood can alter someone's inner wiring to the extent we just witnessed? Share your thoughts in the comments so we can bring your perspectives into future deep dives. If you value thoughtful storytelling and the human moments behind the glare, subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars, turn on notifications, drop a like, and, if you're able, click join to back our work and unlock exclusive content. Your support helps us research carefully, talk to the people who know, and craft narratives that don't skim the surface. Before we close, let's return to that vow. It started in a delivery room, but it didn't end there. It follows them into every decision now. When the scheduling emails pile up, when the script notes arrive, when the calendar threatens to swallow them whole, they trace their steps back to that sentence, and suddenly the path clears. He stays. She trusts. They find a way. The ritual of home, warm bottles lined on the counter, tiny socks that keep disappearing, phone alarms set for naps and vitamins, has become their anchor. It's not glamorous, and that's exactly its power. The discipline of caring for a family has rewired the rhythm of their days. Barış spoke about forgiveness in a way that seemed newly learned. He said he's kinder to himself now, less likely to punish small mistakes, quicker to apologize when he's sharp from lack of sleep. He credited Elçin for modeling courage in the rawest hours, for letting him witness strength that looks nothing like headlines, steady, quiet, unspectacular and, therefore, impossible to fake. In her, he said, he found a true north that doesn't demand grand gestures, only consistency. He's not trying to be impressive anymore. He's trying to be reliable. The difference is everything. It would be easy to pretend that a story like this solves the friction between fame and privacy. It doesn't. But it does suggest a different pace, a slower ethic, a small rebellion against the appetite for constant visibility. It shows us that sometimes the most radical decision is to live a beautiful thing without narrating it in real time. It lets us imagine a world where the camera backs away a few steps and people still feel connected, maybe even more so because what they're given has been allowed to grow roots first. We want to keep telling stories like this, grounded, human, attentive. Tell us which other Turkish celebrities you'd like to see in a feature this intimate. Leave your suggestions below. The best ideas will become full episodes on Secrets Behind the Stars. Your messages truly shape what we make next. As for this chapter in the lives of Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu, it isn't a press blast and it isn't a marketing plan. It's the subtle chronicle of someone being remade from the inside out by love and a small, astonishing person who needs them both. If fame built the stage they've stood on for years, this season has rearranged the set. Now, center stage belongs to a home lit softly at night, to a woman who asked for presents and received a vow, to a man learning that strength can be quiet, and to a child whose first breath reset the tempo. We'll keep following, carefully, respectfully, at a distance that honors what's theirs, because not everything needs an audience to be real. Some things only make sense when whispered at 3 a.m., under the hum of a nursery lamp. Thank you for watching Secrets Behind the Stars. If this story resonated, subscribe, enable notifications, hit like, and consider joining to support the work that lets us bring you deeper, kinder narratives. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care, and goodbye.